Good evening, folks. As we usually do, we'll read to you the last 7 daily inspirational titles. And then you guys can go ahead and pick one and we can go from there. Okay. Title 1 is Experiencing Fulfillment, the Eternal or Decay and Death, What is Success, You Are Not Alone, Gossip and Sarcasm, Choosing to No Longer House Judgmental Thoughts, and Free Will, We Experience What We Focus on. Any of those? Hello, Joey.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi.
So glad to be back. I missed this a lot. I missed you guys.
Thank you. We miss you too. Okay. I'll say them once again, titles, and then you guys can choose one. It's Experiencing Fulfillment, the Eternal or Decay and Death. You might want to not do that. What is Success? You Are Not Alone. Gossip and Sarcasm. Choosing to No Longer Have Judgmental Thoughts, and Free Will, We Experience What We Focus on. Any of those?
I love the 15th free will. We experience what we focus on unless someone has something else.
All right, let's try that one. This is going to be the September 15th Daily Inspirational Message, the condensed version, which is on the website chosentoremember.com. You can go to Daily Inspirations, condensed version, September 15th, and there you'll see it. It's 2 paragraphs long. I'll go ahead and read them, make a few points, and then we can start from there. And here it goes. Paragraph 1. Free will invites us in every moment to choose what we focus on, and thus what we experience. What we choose to focus on, consciously or not, is what we value. What we value, we end up looking for, finding, focusing on, and thus experiencing. In the end, it is what we focus on and value that we will experience, reinforce, and become. If you would like a greater connection to your true nature and source, then every day use your free will to practice focusing on and valuing love in its expressions. The more you practice choosing and aligning with love and its expressions, the more natural and normal these choices become. The more natural and normal these choices become, the more worthy of them you will feel. Paragraph 2. Today, remember that, thanks to free will, every moment offers you the opportunity to trust, be at peace, and begin anew. Try it for yourself to know that this is true. If you are feeling imprisoned by the ego's mindset of anxiousness, worry, fear, or doubt, stop focusing on those thoughts that will not bring about the life experience and life you want. Instead, choose to completely and wholeheartedly trust in love and the divine design. When you do, the state of peace results. What do you have to lose by reminding yourself that the moment is simply a reflection of the thoughts you choose to value? Today, choose to value your trust in the divine design over the ego's fear-based patterns and programs. When you do, peace will become your constant companion, and you will become a beacon of peace for others and for the world. Remember, you experience what you focus on. So today, use your free will to focus on what you would like to experience and create in your life and in the world. All right. The title is Free Will. We will experience what we focus on, September 15th, condensed version. And so the idea here is to learn how to be a little more proactive instead of reactive. Okay? And so usually we go into our days and situations and experiences and interactions without a goal already set for them, right? So because we don't have a goal set for our interactions, we just become reactive to whatever however our ego decides to define the experience. And because the ego usually answers first and loudest, because that's how we've been programmed to react, right? Then usually, because we go into the interaction not proactively, reactively, we react with the ego instead of with our true nature, which is love or some form of love. And so let's say we're going into an interaction where we, in the past, have experienced some level of anxiety or stress about it, right? If in the past you have experienced some level of stress or anxiety in regards to situation A, let's call it, then what would be the most logical solution to what happens in that same situation if you go into it reactively? You're going to experience stress and anxiety again, right? Simply because that's how you reacted in the past. So that's why you think it's normal and natural and right. And so you see, you react to the same type of situations in the same type of ways if you go into them reactively instead of proactively. So now what you want to practice doing is going into each situation, each interaction proactively. And so let's say we're going to go and use the car to go to work. And we live somewhere like in Miami or in Caracas, where let's say the laws are not always applied by everybody. And so the traffic is not quite logical in a sense. And so there might be opportunities where there's a lot of anxiety and anger and resentment towards your fellow drivers, right? Okay, so if you go into the situation, into your car, without a goal already set, then what happens during your drive? You react the exact same way you reacted all other days in your life, right? Somebody cuts you off, you become angry. Somebody cuts you off, you become resentful. And you think, well, this is just natural and normal. That's a proper response to somebody who cuts me off, right? Remember, the ego is always trying to separate you from God, right? Because the ego wants you to itself, right? So how does the ego separate you from God, from source, from love? It's by doing the opposite of what love would do. Okay, it's pretty simple. And so you see, you're driving reactively because you didn't set the goal before the drive. Somebody cuts you off, you become angry. What happens? That means that you choose anger, consciously or not, or resentment. And then what happens? That seems to separate you from source, from love. And so the ego wins because the ego is saying you can't be one with God. If you're reacting with anger, how can you be one with that all perfect love? And so obviously you must be one with me, the ego. And so you see how vicious and sneaky the ego is. And so it uses your past programs to make sure that you are aligned with it, not with God. And so the best way to practice keeping an alignment with source is by being proactive and setting the goal before the interaction. Okay. So now you're getting into the car, but you take a moment for yourself and you say to yourself, okay, in the past, I've reacted with judgment and anger and resentment to everybody who cut me off. Okay, I understand that. That's my ego's way of dealing with the situation. That's not me. That's my ego who takes control over my thinking through my past programming. And so, okay, that's what's going to happen if I go into my car without a plan. Okay, now I'm going to choose a plan. My plan is going to be each and every time somebody cuts me off, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bless them. I'm going to pray for them. I'm going to pray for their family. I'm going to pray for their health. I'm going to pray for their joy. And guess what happens? Those energies and emotions, when you pray for others, has to flow through you first. Okay? So now you're healing yourself in a time and place where you once were poisoning yourself. Okay? So now you're going into the situation proactively, your goal already set, right? Somebody cuts you off, you bless them, you pray for them, you pray for their family, you pray for their safety, you ask God to take care of them, you wish only the best for them, and all that stuff, all those energies flow through you, heal and comfort you, right? And what happens? When this is happening, what's happening? You're connecting to God, right? And because you're connecting to God, you're letting the ego dissolve away and its past programs dissolve away. But it was only because you chose a very simple choice. You chose to be proactive instead of reactive. That's called free will. You chose to experience heaven on earth on your drive instead of hell on earth on your drive. And so you see, if you're asleep and you are controlled by your past programming, you can experience the same exact drive and you can experience hell on earth. Okay? Now, if you consciously connect with source, set the goal of love to react with love to any situation that happens in the car, like cutting people, somebody cutting you off. Now you're aligned with source, and the ego begins to dissolve away. And the more you practice consciously, making it proactive, every time you get into the car, you say to yourself for a minute or two or a second or two, I'm only going to be love. No matter what happens, I'm going to be love. I'm going to react with love, some form of love. And there's many forms of love. And when it comes to driving, such as forgiveness, compassion, understanding, mercy, grace, you know, all those are love, all those are forms of love, all those align you with the mind of God, all those help you achieve what you're meant to be achieving. Okay? Because what's your primary purpose in each interaction, in each situation, in each moment? Is to be the light of the world, right? That's your primary purpose. So even on your drive to the work or wherever, your primary purpose in that moment, an event, is to be love. Okay? And so when you do what you were created by God to do, guess what, how you feel? You feel fulfilled. You feel joyful. You feel at peace. You feel gratitude because you're doing what you were created to do. So when you forgive and bless your brother instead of condemn them and resent them, and you feel a loving presence flowing through you, you become grateful to God for being there for you. Because who is the source of gratitude? God. Who is the source of peace? God. Who is the source of joy? God. So if you're experiencing gratitude, peace, joy, who are you experiencing? God. Okay, so God is your passenger driver when you become proactive. Okay. And so that's the primary idea of this daily inspiration. It's free will. We experience what we focus on. Okay. So if we focus on love, we become love, and we fulfill our mission as the light of the world that God created us to be. If we choose to stay asleep, we allow the ego to control our thinking. We experience hell on earth. Then we feel unfulfilled, sad, depressed, lonely, feeling left alone, feeling like God doesn't listen to us or hear us. And so see, that situation about the car, that's every situation. It could be the car, it could be going to a party, it could be going to work, whatever. The same thing. Go into it proactively instead of reactively. All right. Any comments or questions?
I experienced this very vividly this past 3 or 4 weeks. I haven't been attending this Zoom, and because I was very busy, I got a new job, and I thought, every time the meeting came in, oh, I can't do this. I'm doing all these coordination and follow-ups and whatever work-related thing. And then I realized, so I'm 'cause so I went back from the Philippines to China, and I met up with my friend, um, who's been always encouraging me to attend her study groups, but they're in Chinese. So he said, "Oh, come and join the group and the study." And say, "Oh, well, I can't understand Chinese, but you know what? Um, it made me remember." I told her, "Oh, I've been attending this Zoom. It's been very, very helpful, and it's English. I can understand everything. So you don't need to. I don't need to attend your Chinese class." And then it only dawned on me at that point when she reminded me, "Oh my gosh, I haven't been attending, and I've been making all these excuses, and I've been filled more and more with anxiety. I was anxious about something related to some events in the family and all that." And then so what I did is, the past few days, I've been going through the YouTube videos of the ones that I miss. And then when I listened and heard, it's like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have taken this out because it is what I need to remind myself. Because slowly, as I, absorbed all the lessons which we've learned already, but I listened to it again. I said, "Oh, I applied it." So, little by little, the anxiety went away, the negative emotions. And so that's the equivalent of being proactive. Like, it didn't even occur to me, oh, I missed the class, the Zooms. I could have watched the replays. So now I say, okay, so next time this happens, watch the replays. Or alternatively, make time for it. Because even though work gets busy, it's always an excuse, but work will never disappear. It will always be there. But I need to structure my time so there's time for myself to remember, to be reminded, to attend these, to listen, to learn. So that's my takeaway.
Yes, and that is excellent, because that's also something that I like to do, is that you have to set up your day to have some time with God, aka have some time with a book of knowledge, a book of truth. It could be these daily inspirations, it could be the Bible, it could be whatever book of truth you're reading, but set up times during the day to refocus on what you're really truly here to do, which is to be a light in the world. You cannot be a light in the world if you're consciously anxious or having negative emotions, because all you're doing is the ego's to control your thoughts and thinking, right? So all you are is just a little zombie walking behind the ego. Okay. So yes, set it up. I always set it up. I do 3 times a day, at least half an hour. Okay. 8:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the afternoon, 8:30 at night. I go to the usually I go to the Bible. That's my primary book right now, and I read it for half an hour, and sometimes I spend like 10 minutes or so with Christ, with God, and just allow Him to flow through me. I invite Him to do whatever He wants to do through me in this day. I allow Him to say whatever He wants to say through me, because I live my life so that God could live through me. I, as a human person named James, I like the Dolphins. That's James. He likes to watch the Dolphins. And now, and complain about them for the last 50, 40, wait, 1978, 22, the last 47 years. That's James. Uh, and so I know that James sometimes gets stuck in the world, right? So what I do is I invite God, love, Christ, in my situation, Jesus, in yours it might be somebody else, to do whatever he wants to do that day. Because I know whoever I meet that day is someone that God sent to me. so that I can help them remember who they truly are by being the light of the world in my own unique way in that moment. God has entrusted me with his children to lead them back to reminding them to who they truly are. Okay. So that's my goal in each interaction. But I set up my day so that my goals can be set up and remind myself, I'm here to be the light of the world in this moment. By listening to the moment, listening to what expression of love the moment seems to be requesting from me, it may be forgiveness, it may be compassion, it may be making somebody happy, it might be making a phone call so somebody else doesn't feel lonely. It could be 100 different ways of offering or being love, right? But if you set up X number of times, it doesn't have to be a half an hour, it could be 10 minutes, 3 times a day, just to reconnect with God, reconnect with source, reconnect with love, and ask love, what would you have me think, say, and do? And then you think, say, and do only that. Okay, and this is what you do each and every interaction, each and every moment, each and every situation. You go to God, connect with God, say, God, whatever you want to say through me, say it. And you allow your body to be used for that return to love, as Marianne Williams would say. And so, yes, setting up your day is excellent. And spending a few minutes a day, 3 times a day, to reconnect with source, perfect. Yes. I think the Muslims do it, whatever, 5 times a day. I think they go to prayer. But I think they pray. I don't know if they listen, give like 5 minutes just to listen, to be quiet. Just be quiet and listen. Say, God, do you want me to think about anything? Do you want me to remember something? You give God 5 minutes, you just become quiet and listen. Because it's cool to pray. It's cool. It's very cool to pray. It's cool to listen to worship music. But you have to listen too, as part of prayer. You have to give God time to respond. We talk and talk and talk, and God is like, do you mind just being quiet for a second so I can tell you, so I can answer you? And so people pray and pray and pray and talk and talk and talk, and they don't listen. That's part of the prayer, is to listen to what he wants to say, or what he wants you to do. And so give a little time, give 5 minutes to reading, 5 minutes to praying, 5 minutes to listening. And I love worship songs, so I listen to worship songs. It gets me in the mood, especially at night at the 8:30. I listen to worship music and lifts me up, and I get into that vibe. So yes, thank you. Thank you for that point of setting up different times in your day to go to God and invite him in. Any other comments or questions on how to shift more consciously towards love and become that love? Or does anybody have any examples of how they reacted in a less than loving way? But now, because of these words, maybe you can reset the situation for the next time. No? Wendy? Any,
I
any,
don't know why you chose me. I am all loving all the time.
amen. The thing is that everybody is. That's why I have to just go around the circle.
No, I am telling you, my students are like, they feel so spiritual in the classroom, and it's just this unbelievable experience that I'm having teaching. And Lily isn't in the house, so that probably would have made good fodder for what you're asking about, but she's not here, so it's peaceful in my house. The only place I have conflict is in my head. So I cannot talk about not being nice to somebody else. It's all internal.
Okay. So that's a useful comment too, because most of us have some sort of internal conflict, during the day, some kind of self-judgment, right? thanks to the ego's programming, decade-long programming, we will judge ourselves during the day. So the idea is, okay, I'm judging myself as less than for X or Y reason, right? You can either continue to do so and dive deeper into the darkness, which pollutes your whole day, or you can just practice. Practice being quicker and quicker and recognizing when you're out of alignment. The more you practice recognizing when I'm out of alignment, when I'm supporting fear or anxiousness or doubt or worry or shame or guilt with my time, focus, and energy, the more you can just consciously recall that, okay, I'm supporting these thoughts. This is not what I'm here to do. Let me stop. I forgive myself for thinking those thoughts. I forgive whoever it is that triggered those thoughts in me. Okay. I stop investing or sacrificing my time, focus, and energy to it. In forgiveness, I release the ego. I bring God in. And now I try to see myself only as God sees me. And so when you can't offer yourself compassion or mercy or grace, then invite God, the Holy Spirit, Christ, or whoever, to remind you that you are God's child in creation. Okay, so remember, okay, wait, I'm God's child in creation, right? So if you're God's child in creation, you're worthy of his inheritance, right? What's his inheritance? Peace, joy, mercy, compassion, kindness, generosity. Okay, that's his inheritance to us, his children, right? And so we must be worthy of that inheritance, being God's children. Okay, so we have to be worthy of his inheritance. But to experience his inheritance, somebody gives you an inheritance, right? If you don't use it, then you're not going to enjoy it. If you don't share it with others, you're not going to truly enjoy it, right? So you have to use his inheritance. So you have to use his mercy, his grace, and say to God, God, right now I can't see myself with mercy and grace. Please, can you help me see me like you see me? Okay? Can you help me see me through your mercy and grace and compassion and generosity? Please help me see myself as you created me. Okay? And then he'll open up a little crack in the wall, in the veil, and the light will shine through. And then you'll start to feel a little more merciful and graceful to yourself. But the key is you have to, through free will, break those or lift those veils that separate you between you and your self-compassion. And so if the ego is not allowing you, in quotes, allowing you to have self-compassion for yourself, ask God, God, can you please show me how you have self-compassion for me? How you have compassion for me, who is your son or daughter? And if you have kids, you know how much compassion and mercy and grace you have for your kids, right? So just multiply that by infinity and eternity, and that's the compassion and mercy that God has for you. Okay? So however much you think you have mercy and compassion and love for your kids, just multiply it by infinity and eternity, and that's how God thinks about you. Okay? So give yourself that grace. See yourself as only as God sees you. And by doing so, you lift those veils. And when you lift those veils, you become a brighter light. When you become a brighter light, you help others see that there is a way to the light inside of them through your simple example. By simply showing them that you can be merciful towards yourself, self-forgiving, you show them a way to self-forgiveness, to having a little more compassion. And they go, well, Wendy can do this. Why can't I? You know. And yes, and because you're a teacher for many students, many young people, when they see you having self-compassion for yourself, they can become a little more self-forgiving. And so, yes, practice.
Thank you, James. That's beautiful. And
Yes.
yeah, I agree. That's a good thing to say. If Wendy can do it, God, anybody can.
Yes. All you obviously your students will be able to say that and say, well, she's doing it. Why can't I do it? And she's, when young people see older people, they think that older people have a lot more, not only maybe some wisdom, but a lot of problems. And so when they see you at peace, you become a guiding light for them. Oh wow, you know what? Whatever she's thinking or doing, I want to try that because I want peace. I mean, that's how I came to the Course in Miracles. I saw this guy who was. I was in after college. I went to Europe, and I was staying in one of my uncles. An uncle of mine had an apartment in Paris, and I would go there on weekends. And this other man was having like a second honeymoon with his wife, and he just talked about. We talked about like spiritual subjects, but he was so non-judgmental that I was like, wow, okay, whatever this cat is reading or whatever he's doing, I'm gonna read and do.
Yeah, whatever he's smoking, I want some of that.
Exactly. Whatever he's smoking, I wanna read those pages too. And so he talked about A Course in Miracles, and I go, okay, A Course in Miracles. Okay, put it in the back of my head. After the Europe trip, I went back to Miami where he lived. I went to his apartment to just say hi before I went back to Venezuela to work. And then I saw a big blue book in his couch. And he went to the kitchen, and I went to the couch to see what he was reading. And I figured it was going to be the Bible, right? A big blue book. But then I turned it around and said, A Course in Miracles. Okay, A Course in Miracles. This is a big book. Okay. And then I said, okay, Course in Miracles. I'm gonna go to before I go to the airport, I'm gonna go to the bookstore. Back then they had a lot of bookstores. Back in the day. Back in the back in the 16th century. They had bookstores. And so I went to the bookstore, got the book, and then took it with me to Venezuela. And the rest is history. But yeah, so when you behave in a way that's loving and compassionate and forgiving, especially when the ego says that you shouldn't, people start to go, interesting. I want that. I want that peace. I want that joy. I want to be that compassionate and forgiving. I want to be able to forgive myself too, like she does. You know, because that's part of their mission and purpose in life, is to reflect the light in the world, in the darkness. And so if you show them a little way to the light, they're going to listen to you because they want that light too. Because they know somewhere inside, they know that that's part of their purpose in life is to be a light in each moment and situation and interaction. And so if your brother and sister can be an example for that, you naturally, like moth to flame, you naturally go to love. People naturally are attracted to love because they too want to be and experience and feel that love because that's what they're here for, you know? So, yeah. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, I think what you just said is similar to how I came to miracles. I didn't understand half of what anybody was saying, especially because Juan was there that day. And I thought and I no, really, but I was like, well, they clearly I could feel the peace and the love in the room. And I was like, they have something I want. And that was the last thing Mike said to me. I said, what is all this for? And Mike said, so you can feel peace. I was like, all right, I'll be back next week. Because, I wasn't at peace. I felt, not at peace at all. But I do see what you're talking about with my students, that they are more and more drawn to me, although I've always felt connected to them. The more I've done miracles, the more I have taught them I can choose peace instead of this, the more I do some mindfulness practices with them. like this semester, I mean, I'm not like trying to brag, but it's really weird to me how spiritual it feels. I've been teaching a long time, 20 years there. This semester, students are stopping after class. Multiple students are stopping after class thanking me for the class. This has never happened before. I mean, I might get one, certain students just love you and then certain students don't care, but this is just crazy what's happening now. And I attribute a lot of it to miracles and my experiences with that. And like you said, if you make a mistake, like I tell them, it's like my first time I ever did this in all these years of teaching, just because, of all the stuff I've been going through. I went into a class and started teaching them research methods and realized like halfway through, even though they were taking copious notes, one of them said, "This isn't in the module." And I said, "Of course it is. I put it in there." And then I realized I was teaching a remedial class, research, which, way beyond their ken. And, I said, "I'm sorry. This is just a confusing week for me, but everybody makes mistakes kind of thing." And they were all like super mellow. I mean, I was like, "It's a preview for what you'll get next semester, And I kind of write that to them if they make errors in their work. I just say, it's a mistake, but resubmit and I'll give you a different grade. So you're right. If you show compassion for yourself, I am far more compassionate to my students. I used to be more of a hard ass. I mean, sorry, James, he hates cursing. I mean, I used to be stricter. That's what I meant to say.
Yes, and we're all one, right? So everybody out there is in essence a part of you, right? So when you start to offer them a certain level of mercy, a certain greater level of mercy, you're unconsciously teaching yourself that those parts inside of you that were once condemned by the ego and described as unworthy of mercy, that those spots too are worthy of mercy. And so when you start to show your students that they're worthy of mercy and grace and forgiveness and compassion and understanding, that opens the door unconsciously to you, to those parts of you that you have yet to heal. And so little by little, as you become more merciful to them, you become more self-merciful. And you start to judge yourself less for your quote unquote mistakes. And so that's how they help you heal. And so as you help them find the light inside of them, they too are being of service to you. Yes, thank you. Isabel, you had any situations this week to discuss?
Always.
Okay.
Always. And by the trees, by this area of the Schindler Park, something like that, 57th Avenue and Coral Way, very close. I find this place where I can come and recharge my batteries. Because there's a lot of roots under this tree, big roots. When I step on the top, I feel like, I don't know, it's a connection with Mother Earth. And because at times I feel I need that energy, I need that strength. I get discouraged sometimes, I get weak, and I don't know if it's some type of depression or so. I always try to be optimist. I think I hide my feelings at some point that, or I would say my emotions, right? I give it some meaning and stuff. But I don't know, at the end it's like I learned to change the, what can I say, the filter of my glasses. Because when I am overwhelmed, I see overwhelmed situations outside. And when I am peaceful and, overflow with my energy and it's beautiful, I can give from that overflow. I can give from that peace. I can give from that love. So to me, it's essential to do self-care. It's essential to take care of myself on the things that I have. even things that are, paperwork or bills or things like that, because that the worry, that concern is in the back of my head. And when I may be having fun and still have some guilty feelings in the back, I should be doing that. I should be taking care of this and that. But little by little, I learned that with time, there is time for everything. Little by little, I have learned to let go of the pressure or the limitations of time, and to be present, in the moment. Um, and well, sometimes I get it. Sometimes I get it, and I can be present. Yeah. Particularly when I'm with the classes and with you guys, it's easier to glue with the emotion, to glue with the energy of to be just in the moment. It is really nice to connect with you guys.
Yes, and that's another key point is learning to recharge your batteries. And so there are, like, when the week starts, try to place like 20 minutes at least during the day to do something that actually recharges your batteries. And so in Isabel's case, that's going to nature, right? And something she could do also is grounding, right? Grounding is very useful. You just take off your shoes and your socks, and just put your feet on some grass and
Walk
let it
barefoot.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, let it be there
that
for 10
connection is
minutes,
beautiful.
15 minutes, and let the earth recharge you, right? And so,
Yeah.
yes, it could be that's what works for Isabel, and you can do many other things, but you just think about what recharges my batteries. Okay, for at least 3 times this week for 20 minutes, I'm going to recharge my batteries. It could be nature, it could be grounding, it could be, like for me, worship music or the sun, walking in the sun, eating right, doing these classes. So you figure 3 periods, 20 minutes during the week each, and just think about, okay, what recharges my batteries? And then go do that those 3 days a week at least. If you can do it once a day, it's perfect. Or
The
even
sun.
the sun, yes.
Sunbathing is so powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, because we are so much into, air conditioning, under air conditioning, inside doors. Close the door, close the window, the air is going to come out in the office, in the car, in the house. So going to the sun, it's a beautiful way to recharge batteries. Thank you for pointing out that. I'm going to do that
Yes.
tomorrow.
And there's something called seasonal depression, and that's simply that
Yeah.
people live very far from the equator. They don't get enough sun, and so by not getting enough sun, not having enough vitamin D, they become depressed, and they don't know why they're depressed. And it could be something as easy as because you're not getting enough sun, or you're not taking enough vitamin D. So
Wow.
you start taking all these depression pills when all you really needed is half an hour walk a day or 5,000 milligrams of vitamin D a day. And so, yes, learn what recharges your batteries, and learn to consciously set it up in your calendar for at least 3 times a day to recharge your batteries. And don't think you're being
Yeah.
lazy, because God needs you to be basically the light, basically a battery for all around us, so that we can achieve our function as the light of the world, right? And so,
I can give from my full cup.
yes, so that your
I
cup.
cannot give from an empty cup.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yes.
That's what the Bible says. Your cup runneth over. Right? It has to runneth over. Now, you can focus on anxiety and anger, and then that's going to run over too, if you focus on that. So pay attention to what you're focusing on. Make sure that it's something that recharges your batteries, that lights your life up, and then you'll be able to offer that to others. Your cup will be running over. Yes. So yes, it's a very useful thing. Recharging batteries 3 times a week, 20 minutes in those days. And that's a beautiful thing. Let's see. Was it Maggie in the iPhone?
Yes.
Yes. How's your week been? Have you had any difficulties with your self-judgment, or not seeing the beauty in every moment?
Well, I just experienced what you're talking about. Um, my neighbor asked my view of her judging someone of how, so I said not to judge them, just to show it in a loving way and just smile, and that they want her to do something she doesn't want to do, and just answer them in a non-judgmental way. And that so I was able to give it. For me, watching a calm movie, so something funny, and there's certain movies that I've already seen them, but since they're funny, um I like to watch them 20 minutes, half an hour, and that's very relaxing. And yeah, I can go to the front yard and put my feet in the grass. That's I did the opposite this morning. I went to go get the trash bin. I said I have to do it real early before it starts to rain, and all this grass is wet. Well, I should have done it when I can put my feet in the grass. So now I will take your suggestion. I can put feet in the grass in the front yard. They just cut the grass today.
Right.
Thank you
Yes.
for the suggestion.
Thank you. Yes. Whenever somebody's stuck in judgment, all you want to do is remind them, okay, what you really want is, you can choose between being happy or being right, right? When you use your judgments and you judge others, you have to carry that judgment, right? So you have to carry the heavy weight of that burden of judgment. Okay. And so by carrying that judgment, you never truly achieve true peace of mind and true joy, right? So when you express that to them, say, listen, do you want peace or do you not want peace? Do you want peace of mind or do you not want peace of mind? If you want peace of mind, forgive them. Let it go. Let it go. Forgive. Set yourself free from those burdens. If you don't want peace, then go ahead and judge. Keep judging. You know that you can tell them, you know that judgment never delivers peace to your mind or joy to your heart. So why continue to do the same thing that's not taking you to the destination that you desire to be in, which is peace? And so sometimes the ego would say, well, that person is not worthy of your of your forgiveness, right? But does that ever bring you peace? So even if that brother or sister, according to the world and according to the ego, is not worthy of your forgiveness, does still following the ego's advice, does that bring you any level of peace? Even though the ego says you're 100% right to judge them? You see how tricky the ego is, and how it attaches to the world? Yes, let's judge this person. They're worthy of our judgments. But guess what? Who has to carry that judgment, consciously or unconsciously? Who has to carry that judgment? The person who judged, right? And when you're carrying those burdens, those invisible burdens, sooner or later they weigh you down. And then you wonder why you're tired. And you wonder why you're quick to anger. And you wonder why you're stressed out. And you don't know why. It's called having unforgiving thoughts within your heart and within your mind. And so whenever you're feeling that stress or that tiredness or that weariness or that sadness, ask yourself, okay, Holy Spirit, what unforgiving thought am I holding on to within my mind and within my heart? bring to my mind someone who I have yet to forgive. And then the Holy Spirit, little by little, will bring into your mind those people where you're holding on to with judgment, which are those people who are blocking you from your state, from your peaceful nature. And so your only response to them now is, okay, judgment never delivered to me peace, right? Let me try forgiveness. Maybe forgiveness can bring me peace. And so, yes, it's very useful to practice using those moments when the universe is trying to convince you to judge, to forgive instead, and see which road leads you sooner to peace. And so her judgments is just the universe offering her opportunities to practice seeing that those judgments never delivered to her peace. So why give her the opportunity to choose a better way, another way? And that's what you led her to. You led her to the possibility of forgiveness, to letting that go, to not judging. Yeah, so forgiveness is always, in essence, for yourself. And you were talking about movies. There's some videos on YouTube that I like, where there's this last video I saw is this individual in Sweden, I think it was, he walks into a train, right? And the guy just starts laughing, okay? So they're videoing this guy just laughing and laughing and laughing and not stopping laughing, right? And you know what happens when one of your friends or whatever laughs and laughs and laughs? Suddenly you start to laugh, right? And so in the train, people started to laugh because this guy was laughing. Obviously, it was an experiment by this guy and the video guy. But when he started to laugh, after a little while, other people started laughing. And because other people started laughing, then more people started laughing. And then the whole train cart was laughing. And it was just from one person choosing to laugh. So here was the whole train was quiet. People were in their issues, probably in their minds. And then this guy just walks in to be a light. He starts to laugh because laughter equals joy. Joy is an expression of love, right? And so he was just being a representative of God, of love, of light on earth, right? Through joy, through laughter, right? And so he just laughed. And little by little, more and more people laughed, and the whole train was laughing. And then obviously I was laughing because it was impossible not to laugh because I was watching the video.
I saw the video too.
Oh, you did?
I saw the video today, and yes, and I shifted my energy. That, from being serious or being worried or something like that, all of a sudden, it's little by little, the smiles, and it shifts the energy completely to that. It reminds me when I was laughing about something else, same way. It's very therapeutic. I find it really super, good for stress.
Yes. And I think nowadays they have like a laughing yoga. I haven't been to one of those classes, but I think they have like a laughing yoga thing where I don't know what you do. I guess you just laugh, do a pose and laugh.
I joined a comedy acting classes.
Okay.
And yes, and what we're doing is impro, talking about anything. Just put yourself in a position where you're just gonna be telling things, stories, or any situation from a funny side. From a funny side of, just inventing, just going and expanding, about any situation that could be just inventing yourself, becoming creative, because it relaxes you so much and you become creative and you don't even know it. It was nice. I started telling a story when I came to United States, but I started like saying it from a different personage, not telling myself, like a funny guy or funny woman is telling this situation, this story. And at the end, people started cracking down. It was so good. I'm not funny at all, but I'm learning from others. It's fun.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, so that's a good tip. Whenever let's say you're not feeling joyful, let's say, right? Okay. We're all being all one, right? If you can bring joy to somebody else, that joy, that energy of joy has to flow through those blocks of joy. So let's say you're feeling sad or down, right? Okay, so how can I get out of this vibe? Let me call my friend or call X or Y person and maybe tell them, oh, listen, I was Googling jokes and I found this joke that was really funny. I wanted to tell you the joke. And then you make that brother or sister laugh, and that breaks through that barrier that you were holding on to, that energy that you were holding on to of sadness or being down. And so, see, when you bring joy to somebody else, because we're all one, you help heal yourself. You help bring joy to you.
Mhm.
Because the ego is going to want you to go further and further down, right? If you're not joyful, then the ego says, well, be sad, be sad, be depressed. And then you go down and down and down and down. So you always want to do the opposite of what the ego seems to be recommending. You want to feel joy? Look to bring joy to somebody else. If you don't know how, if you consider yourself not comedic, then look for a comedic video on YouTube and share it with your brother or sister, or look for some funny joke on Google and then share with your friend. And then they'll laugh, and then they'll bring you joy, and then they'll break that energy of darkness, I guess. And so, yes, being of service is to another helps heal you. So yes, thank you for that. So yes, look for that video of the train. I'll look for it for next time.
I can share it here.
Oh yeah.
I can share it with the group.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I
Go
will
ahead.
send it. Yeah, we'll do. I will do.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, she's gonna try to share the link, I would imagine. Yes, but it's funny. Yes. All right, folks. Well, any final comments or questions before we close?
Well, I just want to make one quick comment of I love the title of We Experience What We Focus On, because it's so simple but so powerful. Like you can start, I notice when I wake up in the morning, I can start feeling fine and happy. And then I can notice one negative thought and I can say, am I going to follow that thought? And unconsciously, if I end up following it, I could quickly see myself going down a negative path with just a simple thing of focusing in that negative direction. And it's just such a great reminder, and there's so much in this post and in the title that it's a great thing to remember. Thank you for the post.
Yes. Yes, that is very true. And in more esoteric sense, okay, there's what some people believe that sadness or that anxiousness or that thought, where does the thought come from? Right? You're happy and you're joyful. All of a sudden, thought comes in. Where does that thought come from?
The
And so
mind.
sometimes that thought doesn't come from you.
Mm.
Okay, it comes from something else around you that's trying to suck that energy from you, right?
Mm.
So whenever you think about that thought and say, okay, wait, that's thought. I'm not here for that. That's not what God created me to do. I was created by God to be a light in the world. I forgive myself for thinking that thought. I do not allow its entrance into my kingdom, which is my mind. I stop it at the gate. Say, no, you're not allowed to enter my kingdom. Okay? I have free will. I can choose what thoughts enter my kingdom, and therefore what energy I experience. Right?
Mhm.
So stop allowing thoughts that don't bring peace to your mind and joy to your heart into your kingdom, which is your mind. And then when they come in, eject them out as quick as possible. They don't belong in here. or in here.
Mhm.
Okay. You have free will. You can choose peace. You can choose joy. Those are choices you can in every moment make, no matter what the ego says about the moment. That being said, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Jen. Thank you,
No,
Isabel.
no. Thank you. Thank you, James.
Thank you, Joy.
That's
Wendy,
beautiful.
Thanks.
Shelley,
Thank
Mike.
you, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
And night.
This class will be here tomorrow in the YouTube channel at 5 p.m. if you want to check it out. Thank you very much. And
Thank
we'll
you.
be here now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.